Okay, so got a green dot, got it on. Once again, like so many other times, to doing 3-minute videos while doing stuff, it's like eating an apple, so I can seem smart. And then I've discovered to fast forward to do the video editing, right? So this time, well now I don't know, I might be getting out in front of my skis or something like that, but see, welcome back to another edition of Deep Thoughts from a Stairwell. Still playing around with the video editor stuff, and I've got burritos, and what else we got? Oh yeah, so see, this is the thing, folks. This is what it's very fun fact, you know what I mean? Internet stuff. The internet loves fun facts, right? So let me get this to focus. Did you know? Fun factorino. Can we get this to zoom in on the? No, I don't want to look at it. Look at it, camera. Anyways, fun fact: if you go to Walmart. You buy 3 triple down on your burritos. And 1 bag of no name barbecue chips. It comes out, your total comes out to exactly $6.66. You have a receipt right here, it's pretty cool. So, fun facts, I don't know. Maybe the internet didn't need to know that. Maybe you needed to know that. So, it's dinner time around here out on the West Coast. I got my standard can of beans. I got a de-alkalized beer. I was trying to get the alkalized kind, the normal beer, but see, this one's been sitting in the fridge for a while, folks. People are like, hey, you like weird stuff, right? I'm like, well, hey, what do you got? Hey, you want some de-alkalized beer? I was like, oh, do I ever? My original plan was to go to the AA meeting, crack a beer. So it's been sitting in the fridge for what, you know what I mean? A 0% beer in an AA meeting, because, like, you know, I'm not gonna leave. You know what I mean? My story's on holding on white knuckle, you know, I just like, it's keeping me from drinking, right? So they can't kick you out. And, well, if you refuse to go, so maybe I could start a fight with, like, 3 people, or, you know, cranky, uptight, AA types that had way too much coffee all day. Maybe. See, these are the sorts of things. But we'll go fast forward. Anyways, folks, I guess we're back because I ate 2 burritos. And can of beans. Oh my god. Don't worry. I'll be fine, kids. Anyways, so as I was saying, if little Pierre No Nuts Pied Piper Polivier can eat an apple and seem all smart just by being like, who says that? And see, this is what my problem is, right? It's that disaffected. It's that who says that? You know what I mean? They play a role, folks. They play a role. So somehow I want to do some sort of Star Trek-y, warpy, compress all of what had just happened, and then I'm gonna talk about smart shit. But you see, this was deep thoughts from a Stairwell. But the thing is, earlier I was eating a grapefruit because instead of apples, right? So earlier, and then I can't tie it together because you see, talking about bonds and the bond market, and then so now everybody's just silver, the stock market crash, and then it's well, those stocks are crashing. So where was the bubble inflated before those? And it's not the whole market, folks. They're fear mongering on certain things, right? But see, as I've been making all these prototype or doing trial videos, there was one on the last weekend, and because of the 680 billion in Chinese held US bonds, and then I was like, oh hey, well I think they're going to close certain markets, because silver went up so much. I bet you what they're going to do is they're going to drop the bottom on the silver and the gold. And I had this, but I never published it because things get away on themselves and they just run off the rails and stuff. So I was trying to make this delightful 3-minute video about how Mark Carney ties in Epstein, and back in the past, so Mark Carney was there in 2008 because the guy Dodgson something. So the governor of the Bank of Canada, who is essentially the Black Pope, they supersede the White Pope or the Prime Minister, the cabinet that you see in front of the media cameras, right? Oh man, this dealcoholized, this is Athletic Brewing Run Wild IPA. This is actually good stuff. So where was I going with that? The bond market, right? Very hard to talk about in a 3-minute video and still make sense. You know what I mean? Also, having eaten all these beans and stuff, it's probably about time for a nap for me, right? So where was I going with that? I was talking about the earlier stuff in 2008, and that Carney, because the previous guy, he was okay with bailouts for the governors of the Bank of Canada, because they supersede what is, you think, because it's the Queen's Privy Council. So there's dudes on there, Paul Martin, is around that Paul Martin, because the Dodson guy was Chrétien, Paul Martin, and then Harper, right? And so he wouldn't do what Paul Martin wanted him to do. I think there was some sort of argument with that, but there was what was the thing? Queen's Privy Council, Oh, yeah, that's where I was going. So he, the guy before Carney, and then magically, 2008, Carney gets in, and then they believe in quantitative easing because he didn't want to do the quantitative easing. He was okay with bailouts, but there was no need for bailouts in Canada because it wasn't our market that was sunk. It was just because it was tied. But then what did they do? They tied it more into the U.S. market. It was after 2008, quantitative easing, and the Canadian housing market was flooded with all this U.S. money because they needed to park it someplace. So unlike a flight now that's going on, the flight to capital, it's not people may think they're going to security to get out of the Canadian market, but it's a flight to capital. It's a flight of capital into. So back then it was a flight to security of the U.S. money, and then he said, well, it's that was only the 10%. That was only the 15-20%. That was the down payments. So it was our own money that we used to inflate the housing market because of the money. But quantitative easing isn't really fun. Well, you see how it's like a 4-hour dissertation. It's compressed into 3 minutes. So I can't really make three. I'm starting to give up on it. But there is still hope for a 3-minute video. So going back to these times, this is when, after that, but you know what I mean? Mark Carney is in with all the New York crowd, and he's into, you know what I mean? Weird stuff, guys, weird stuff. The New York guys, the art dealerships and stuff, but he doesn't need to. He's working for the Bank of England. He's on the other side of the money laundering. He's on the side of how much would you like to launder with our corporation side, not the I'd like to clean this money. But you see, when you think of money, because you're thinking of like a criminal, but this is what I mean about how they needed to launder money when it wasn't from a criminal. There's supposedly like these rich guys. So why was the money laundering, even if that wasn't what the point was? Wasn't the Lolita Express, that was the side dish, the appetizer, because the people with these expensive tastes. So what are Mark Carney's expensive tastes, right? And where did they get the money to do all the money laundering? And how much are the bonds really worth if you can't print enough of them to cover the old ones when you printed too many already? Okay, so that's where your inflation is coming. Well, kind of like, and how much time did I spend eating, and how much I pressed that? Okay, so deep thoughts from a stairwell. What I'm gonna do is like shorten things and figure out how to, if I just, but it's all time, and then the housing market too, because that's how they got, and they're going to take, and your house was never worth that much. There was never that much money in circulation. They printed it eventually, but because they had already printed it, that's why you needed to, but the economy wasn't growing, right? So there was no, that's why when it was zero, it was like, well, we don't expect any growth. So it's a zero rate that we're buying back our old bad debt we're just admitting that the old debt is not worth what we said it was back then. So the new stuff, but now that the interest rates are going up, right? So the old debt should be worth even less than they said it was already, running concurrent with the new debt. Okay, so that's where Mark Carney comes into play. The connections in the Epstein files. It's if they could trace down the money of what you've always been the house rich, you know what I mean, or what they call it, house poor, house rich. House rich, cash poor, can't afford any beans. Alright, this is fucking. Okay, so 2008 Mark Carney, bit of a different creature. Didn't have Trump to hate. Oh, that's what it was. Didn't Obama get in 2008? So if he's friends with Obama to take down the USA, you know what I mean? Well, then he really hates Trump, because Trump's trying to make USA number one. So there's that aspect too. But, you know, to sum it all up, those weird sexual vampire freaks and all their, I don't know. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna eat an apple. It's gonna take 3 minutes, and I'm gonna say something that's like really smart, like Diana Fox Carney was born a dude, you know what I mean? And then that's gonna be or I'll have my dog eating a chicken or something. I don't know. Still work in progress, folks. It's really hard to explain where all your money went, because you never had it in the first place. Every time you're playing with their money, because, and I was said it's earlier videos, and all right. So, which came first? Carney or Epstein? Or how do you even know about it? He was in on the media side and on the banker side. Epstein was a money launderer, the child procurement, and this is, like I said, the appetizer. He was the customer. Epstein, he was a provider, but middleman. He was a middleman. So, who was Carney? He was the middleman for the Bank of England. He was the middleman for the magical money fairy people. But a long time ago. It's not like as though he just showed up. He's been for all my adult life. Well, not quite, but so we're back to the original premise. Diana Fox Carney was definitely born a dude, and those folks is like weirdos. You are, because we couldn't get it. We don't see it there, even when it's right in front of our face. You know what I mean? So this has been more deep thoughts from Stairwell, and I enjoyed my beans. So hope you got a good beans wherever it is you are in your own perspective, stairwells or dinner tables or cool places like where you eat beans, because you're not making videos to try and sound smart, I guess. I don't know. Alright.